the small field. It's only about half an acre, but there's a lot here. The other one's just right there. So I don't think I showed you what I ended up doing with my mower shield. That's the old one. I just put the flashing stuff around. It's a little crude, but the new one I feel pretty happy about, and it fits on both tractors, with the exception of the fact that I didn't think through this. So I'm gonna have to raise this thing up. I'm not about to notch a corner out of it. Oh well. I don't know if anybody knows why these Vicon tethers were set up with like caster wheels on the outside here. Yeah, I mean, I know technically you're supposed to be able to change the angle of the tether a little bit, but these things just bounce around and flop like crazy. So I've been adding a bolt to at least limit how much it goes, although they get pretty worn out and break. But it always struck me as just a weird choice. Moving wagon. Looks good. Well, there's the first field restacked. About 120 bales. That's the little experiment batch. Wish that it was a little bit less humid today. Tried to go with the relative humidity, but I think the new metal roof on this barn, while it's amazing, doesn't quite allow as much ventilation. So did what we can. Can usually get, goodness, I think I've gotten 600 bales in here before, but it's starting to feel a little bit tight on space. So hoping we can get some off-wagon folks for these next couple batches. Well, this came a long way in about 30 hours. Almost could get away with baling this today, but hopefully we can just do it early afternoon tomorrow. Raking time. Pretty decent windrows for this time of year. May 30th. See how many are here tomorrow. 104, a little less than I was hoping for here, but it looks beautiful. And 33 from the little field. I was hoping for at least 40, but again, they're nice. So yeah, a little less than I was expecting today. Oh well, at least these two little fields are done. Well, the new Vermeer TM610 hay mower just got delivered. It's kind of the perfect size, not gonna lie. It's an 8-foot cut. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Haven't talked a lot about this, but I did research like crazy, and then this thing got delayed, production delays. It was a whole saga, but have it now. And yeah, it's an actual trailed disc mower as opposed to 3-point hitch, and 8.1 foot cut rather than 5.5, 6 discs rather than 4. fully enclosed. Shouldn't have any clogging issues. No conditioner, which was a choice. We can talk more about at a future point. We'll see. Maybe use it today. All right. Well, Robin and I just poured through this thing, adjusted the hitch height to meet what the manual says about clearance. Had to drop that down a couple holes. That's fine. Double check greasing things, double check the oil reservoir, messing around with the flotation and the cutter bar height. It looks like it's awfully tipped forward, but the cutter bar in there isn't. And I've got it set up for 3.5 or 4 inches stubble height, which I think is actually higher than my other mower could even do. But, you know, I can always start high and work my way down. Hydraulics work fine so far. Haven't fired it up yet. Rather do that out in a field rather than in a driveway with a bunch of stones. But, yeah. Well, gonna have to get used to that being that far back there. Now that's a pretty swath. Ooh, stubble height seems pretty good. So I think a little higher than I can usually get with the other mower, but I'm fine with that. Both for damp ground and for second cut regrowth. But that is a nice, clean, ooh, I like that. There's a learning curve, no pun intended. Use the tow behind mower, you know, offset at UMass plenty, but it's been a few years and I'm really used to one of the 3-point hitch. You've got to take corners and space things very differently. So I don't know, trial and error. One field down. Yeah, gonna take me a little bit getting used to this, but overall, I think it's 2 solid thumbs up. So what I'm struggling to understand is why I'm getting these stripes of unmowed material when I'm doing almost a foot's worth of overlap here. This is the disc that's almost a foot into what I've already cut. And the best I can figure is that some of this edge is getting trampled forward to the point where, I don't know why, but that disc is not cutting it. And I mean, I'm overlapped a lot here and it's leaving lots of strips. So I really can't figure out what the deal there is. So less overlap did seem to help, but it did not solve the problem. It's almost like I had to change where the disc was in relation to the hay that was laying flat. Right here it's pretty clean, but down here there kept being these spots with strips. No matter if I overlapped by a foot or if I tried to come over towards the edge and barely overlap at all. So that's a little bit frustrating. Yeah, a mower like this should not be doing that. So this must be something I'm not doing right or some sort of adjustment. So the best I can figure is that the right-hand edge of this mower is somehow squishing the grass down. And then when I do the next pass, the left-hand side of the mower is not catching it. This blade goes all the way to the edge. In fact, that's what that little bulge is a spot for the blade to go. So that really shouldn't be happening. The tire is tucked in a little bit, so it's not the tire. So something's causing it. It's a little bit frustrating. Alrighty, so we've got the 3.5 acre piece down, and then another 1.5 acres a few miles away. Got the 275 back here to hopefully run the show here, maybe with the help of the 135, bringing the 165 and the tedder down to ted that other piece. If everything goes right, I'll only have to bring the tedder back and forth with the truck once, and then we'll just trade off and have the 165 run in the smaller field a few miles away, 275 finishing up baling here, and then the next day we'll bring everything down. So I don't know, it's a risk, but can't do more acreage and not risk more. That's how it goes. So I tedded this field out around 6 o'clock last night as the first tedding, and this is why I did. It's about 11 or a little after now. I knew I couldn't get to the field for a while. It's already crisped up a good bit. Without the conditioner and the mower just dropping it in a swath, goodness, my experiment from the first field, it didn't dry much until the tedder touched it. Nice and easy. 1300 RPM, low one. You gotta be thorough with this sometimes. Okay, current working mower theory is I have it set too low. This stubble is shorter than I want it, I think. It's hard to compare because for the disc mower, all I could do is adjust the tilt of the cutter bar, and there's only so high I could actually mow with it operating correctly. But you know, 3 to 5 inches for grass, that's maybe 3. I think I have room to come up a little bit. I wouldn't mind getting in the habit of mowing hay a little higher anyway. It's better for second cut, better for the grass, easier for drying. And you know, it's not super consistent. That's, I'd say, closer to 2 inches. So there's some combination of the height and the flotation I need to get ironed out on this thing. And my hope is then the outside edge won't be squishing into the ground or trampling the hay as much. But it's sort of counterintuitive. It's like if you set it higher, then it's not going to catch the grass that's mushed over as well, but maybe the grass won't get mushed over in the first place. Figure it out. things are a little ahead of schedule here. Back to Ted this field and crispy. This maybe could even be ready tomorrow if I can have time and wagons and a baler for it. The baler. We'll see. I'm okay if things run ahead. Okay, well, I pulled 81 off the sunniest part of the field. That should put a little bit of a dent in tomorrow anyway. It's funny, I tried the shadier portion and watched the numbers creep right up on the moisture meter. They were borderline. If it was going to rain tomorrow, I would have gone for it, but it's not, so why rush this? Oh yeah, and the plug for the thrower speed control stopped working. At least I think it's the plug, because I can jiggle it to make it work a little bit. So I got it sped up a bit, and that's why this wagon's filled pretty high from the back, which is not what I want to do on these hilly fields. I really rely on the speed control to gradually fill it up from the bottom and keep the center of gravity low. So I probably could have packed more on here, but the sunny section was just hilly up and down with some kind of hilly turnarounds. Not worth risking everything. Well, I replaced the plug, and it made it work again, but it was still being jerky, so I actually went and cleaned off the whole mechanism. Sprayed it down. Seems to be working smoothly again. Knock on hay. I'm just going to fix it. Alrighty, brought the rake to field number 2. Should be ready to rake by now, and we'll let it sit till tomorrow. There's some hay there. Okay, it's raked. This will wait till tomorrow. Shade's already starting to move in, and it's, what, 1:30? So hopefully we'll get an early jump on this tomorrow. Feeling great so far. I love this wagon. It's the only one I actually have built the rack sides on. But halfway through a load, I feel compelled to chain it, just to be darn sure that nothing comes breaking out and goes sideways. So, all right, keep going. Well, here I am being conservative with my wagons again. But this field was really challenging. All kinds of weird little tricky places. I'm just my luck to take a wagon, and I've got 2 more empties, so. Yep, same back in one for that field. 2 of those we have. right, calling that one there. But there's only another half wagon here anyway. See, this is where on the corner, I'm willing to say that that farther outside edge could have been not enough overlap. If you get this far, that's a lot closer together than 8 feet. So I was doing plenty of overlap here and it still got trampled. Hope it's not the tire. Almost 1 o'clock. Had a lot of nice morning sun, good breeze. Starting to get a little overcast, but the sun is still hazing through it. It's time to go. Beautiful so far, and that wind. Ooh, that's nice. '76 semi-stacked due to tippiness and kind of a side tip exit to the field. I don't know, maybe there's another 30 for the other wagon. That puts this field a bit under yield too. But it's a little early to be saying that, I guess.